Cultural sovereignty for me is knowing who you are based off of where you come from and where you plan to go, and whom you choose to give the best part of yourself to. So for me, that means acknowledging the beauty of the experiences of my forefathers, my ancestors, and the elders who I'm not related to, but shared their beauty with me while they were still living. Because now that they're gone, they're largely forgotten. And regardless of how remarkable they were when they were living and how well respected they were, but as soon as they were not around anymore to carry that mantle, to carry that weight, to carry that burden.
Do you know that telling a story is one of the most powerful ways to connect with your audience? Do you know that the human brain processes story much more easily and quickly than facts and figure? Stories are a great way to engage your audience, get them interested in your products and services, and inspire them to take action. A good story will help you create more compelling content that can be shared on social media or through other channels. And it's not just about telling a compelling story, it's also about knowing how to tell it effectively. Now, do you want to better connect with your audience? Then join us on our online training class, Storytelling for Content Creators and Digital Entrepreneurs. Come to obehil1food.com/storytelling and learn how to leverage your storytelling skill to earn more as a content creator and digital entrepreneur. Storytelling is a powerful way to connect with your audience, so let's explore it together. See you in the class.
They just got erased and replaced with someone or something or nothing at all who didn't have any merit. So that sovereignty for me is control of our history, of our identity, and our destiny, not so that we can exploit it for short-term monetary gain, but so that when we are looked back upon by our descendants, we are an example of what to be, what to do, or an example of admiration, an example of something to aspire to. And we cannot do that if we do not have cultural sovereignty, because if we are preoccupied with what white people think of what we say and do, then we will be just like Fisk, we'll be just like the early ragtime composers, we'll be like Berry Gordy, we'll be like everybody else who finds a way to find what they call a middle road, which is not a middle road because it's not equal. We'll be just like all those other people who are shown to be charlatans. And it is control of our destiny. It is control of our history. It is doing the painful, difficult, but necessary work to find out the truth, or the truth as we see it based off of the information that we have, and to act accordingly. I remember working with a Native man when I was much, much younger, when he had been robbed by some black youths, and I knew who it was, and I felt really ashamed and really bad because he was a good fella and a good man and was trying to do the right thing, but they took his niceness as a weakness to be exploited for short-term gain because they could only see right beyond their nose. And I was trying to find a way to apologize to him for it because he didn't deserve what happened. And he said, "It's okay. Because I understand the difference between you and them. They act as though they have no ancestors. The way that you act is because you know your ancestors are watching. And because I know the story of my ancestors, I act accordingly because I know what they went through so that I could exist. And for these children to act the way that they did, it's because they don't have much knowledge of self, and they for sure didn't have access to any of their cultural legacy." And it pained my heart to hear, but he was true. They acted as though they have no ancestors. And so for me, I want to inspire young people to dig into our history. Like with the work that I've done on this book, I have roughly 1,100 single-space pages of newsprint of where these people were, what they did, their daily movements for almost 20 years, enough to make a period drama, like a real drama with multiple seasons, because there's infighting, there's smallpox outbreak, there's stabbings, there's a shooting, there's various productions and all these fights with management. They go to England with Indahome and they give a command performance for Prince Philip, who was the uncle of the current queen. There's all this beautiful intrigue and conflict and peaks and valleys that are real. We don't have to make it up, right? It's all in there. And I hope that this inspires younger people to go back in and fill some of the gaps that are in my research and to go research their own family histories, because you can read the census reports back to 1870. And then before that, it's receipts and ship manifests for us in the United States and to some extent the Caribbean and in Central America. But that work is really painful and really difficult, particularly if you have light-skinned ancestors, because 99,000 times out of 100,000, it was not consensual. And so that information was not shared orally, and it can be very difficult to ascertain and figure out, and it requires a lot of discipline and a lot of fortitude. And I hope that the work that I have done and will continue to do will inspire younger people to pick up that mantle and go forward with it, because I fear for the future when I see a lot of Black children who get their February version of the Black experience because they're just getting it from the public school system and television, which is garbage because it benefits white people. Like, no, go find the real thing. If they're telling you 6, it's really 12, 13, or 14. Go find out what it really is. They're only giving you a little tiny bit of it. They're giving you a stereotype, right? And it's not that stereotypes are untrue, it's that they're incomplete. You need to find the complete history, or as complete as you can make it. Or in the Antonio Gramsci sense, you need to go within history and find the infinity of trace information and make an inventory of it. And that's how you find out who you are, who your ancestors were, and who people are going to be going forward. And that's what cultural sovereignty is to me.
Thank you so much for that, dear Daniel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's sort of fall in line into the entire conversation that we are having today, which has to do with value, with our culture, with our standing in the world. That we are not existing as individuals, we are existing as a group of people. This life is a game where everyone is invited to play. And we must play understanding that we are part of it. No one is exempted. So we must know our role. What am I supposed to do to make sure that this story continues? Because we must keep on moving. We cannot stop. Yes, it is challenging. It is difficult. There are a lot of obstacles out there in front of us. But we're not going to look for the easier way. We're going to look for the right way to make sure that we keep moving, to be able to have story, something that we can leave for the generation that is coming after us.
And in doing so, you will encourage people to embrace the discomfort of the learning process, because they know when they get on the other side, they'll be different, but they'll be so much more beautiful in ways that you can't imagine until you get to the other side. But you have to take that risk. And I really want to encourage young people to do it of all stripes by doing it, by showing them. Look at what happened to me. I took on some PTSD doing my doctoral fieldwork, but look at what I did. I made some lifelong bonds. My work is in the Smithsonian. Hundreds of thousands of people have seen my work. It was worth it. The harm that I took to do it, even though I never gained any financial gains from it or whatever, it's not about the income, it's about the outcome. That's what I did this for. And I hope that I set a good example and that I continue to grow in that regard, and that I inspire young people, because nothing makes me happier than someone who comes and finds me and says, you said something to me that inspired me to do this or that or the other, and I may not even remember that person or even remember saying it. but it was nothing for me at the time, but it was everything for them. And so many people have done that for me, to where I just try. I'm earnest about what I do. I take every opportunity, because you don't get those moments back, particularly with children. And I'm just hoping that happens. I saw that happen for my uncle, who was a very important guy for a lot of young people who were like thrown away as kids. And where we'd be out somewhere doing something, and people would stop him and talk about how on such and such day he did this for them, and that inspired them to do this, that, or the other, and then they were in a much better position. And that's something that, and watching him tear up as a result of that, because he had to take those hits to make sure that he was doing the right thing the right way. That showed me that this is a man right here, and this is an example of what a man should be. And so I endeavor every day to be that kind of man, the way my uncles, the way my father is, the way my grandfather was.